These are the top 12 tips how top performers thrive in any market. My name's Hector Diaz. I've been teaching digital marketing and technology to real estate agents for over a decade, since 2009. And I work for two Fortune 500 companies. Number one, they start with appreciation every day. Everyone is different, but leaders that win long term are excited about what they do. People who burn out faster tend to be fear driven. Number two, prospecting is the sacred time for real estate professionals. They get to work. So prospecting time should be from 2 to 4 hours minimum. Cold calls, door knocking, email, marketing campaigns, whatever you have to do to build a connection, to talk, doing an event, like doing a seminar, for example, is prospecting. Number three, going on appointments. Obviously, when you go on appointments, you're meeting face to face with somebody, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's in person, and you're demonstrating your value. You're demonstrating your expertise, understanding the pillars of real estate, right? Understanding contracts, the loan process, title process, escrow process. Understanding those fundamentals allows you to shine as a professional. Number four, constantly learning and applying what you learn. Some of my best students, even if there was a class of 30 people, only 3 took action. These people are now multimillionaires. It feels so rewarding as somebody who's been consulting for so long, seeing their students grow and succeed and achieve their dreams for their family. One of my students actually invited me to teach at UCLA as a guest professor, which was a great honor for me. Number five, sending mailers and thank you cards. When it comes to sending mailers, I remember a top producer that I worked with, this guy would say that the reason why a lot of people quit real estate is because they don't have the chops. They don't have the long-term vision. They would try one marketing campaign, they wouldn't get a result, so they would stop. What made this guy a top producer is that he continued doing marketing over time and realized that even online, it takes 6 to 24 months to convert a lead. Having a long-term vision and doing mailers, handwritten notes are another really powerful way of deepening a connection with somebody or even generating a new lead. Number six is deepening relationships. When you deepen the relationships and the contacts that you already have within your database of people that are on your cell phone, for example, you can use these relationships to bring you more business. So one of the things I usually lead with when I'm doing consulting sessions with my clients is, how many people do you have in your database? Are they organized? And if they're organized, how often are you connecting with them? And what I mean by organized is, are they quartiled? Who are the A's in your list? Who are the VIPs, the people that know you, love you, trust you, and they send you more business? The B's are people that you've just done a deal with, but they haven't sent you more business. The C's are people that maybe you did a transaction with that was a little bit bumpy. They haven't sent you more business, but, or maybe you went on a listing appointment that didn't get the listing, but you have a good connection, you have a good rapport, and they're in your database. And the people on your D list would be people who are random contacts that you have on your phone or random contacts that opted in on your website or whatever. And you can use these contacts to send a newsletter to. And if you don't have a newsletter, I encourage you to start one, because that's definitely something that a lot of the top performers have automatically running in the background. In addition to their direct physical mail campaign, they have an email newsletter that goes out at least once a quarter. Number seven is good vendor relationships. So every top performer that I work with has a lender that they do business with. They send people to get pre-qualified with. They send people to the home repairs and home inspectors, the title reps, the escrow office. All of these different components to making the sale a seamless process is very important. It's paramount. And so understanding, having great vendors that are competent, quick, and responsive, especially now in the day and age that we're living in, people are very quick, and the technology allows us to do that. Number eight, they love the game. Top performers at the highest level love the game that they're playing. And it's not really about the money. It's more about the impact that they're making on society and the people that they're working with individually. Number nine, giving back to friends and family. When you are able to close a deal and you get that $30,000 check or $10,000 check, it feels so rewarding and so amazing that you're able to not only give back to your friends and family for your own needs, but you're able to contribute to causes that you are passionate about. One of these top producers I've worked with started their own foundation, and they give to orphan children in Mexico. And it's a very beautiful thing. And so if you have the ability to make so much money because you helped a lot of people, you demonstrated your expertise, then you are able to make even greater impact beyond the self, beyond your immediate family, but also to society at large. Number 10, top producers have the ability to get a negative situation and turn it into an empowering alternative. For example, I remember at one of the companies I worked with, Berkshire Hathaway, there was a top guy out of New York. He was a broker at this point when I talked to him, but this man had one of his loyal clients go to somebody else, and it broke his heart, and he was upset about it. And I'm telling you this because he's been in the game for 30 years. And if you understand that even after 30 years, it still hurts, you can use that energy. You can use that energy to keep going. I also worked with another top producer here locally. And I remember one time she came up to me and she's like, Hector, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And she was also heartbroken because her buyers were wasting her time, and they went with somebody else at the end of the day. And she was so upset because she had invested hours and hours and hours working with them. And she was a veteran in the business as well. I saw her many years after. I think it was at a restaurant here locally. And I said, how are you doing? And she was able to send her daughter to a very famous college, back east, and provided for her. So even though you might go through some difficulty, you might go through some challenges regarding a transaction, just realize it's a longer game than just this particular transaction. There's more business to come. And so I bring this up because there's lessons in the pain, and transforming the pain into purification, into insight, into fuel for greater achievement. That's a reoccurring theme that I've seen over and over and over again with elite performers. Number 11 is gaining respect. So when you're in the business long enough, other people will notice, not just your consumers, but other people within your industry. So I've been fortunate to work with some phenomenal people across the United States in my consulting role. I never really said this before, but in this, I've never said this publicly before, but I used to do training for the leaders within my organization where I was at for 6 years. And these are just wonderful, wonderful people. But I was fortunate enough to be able to teach them these coming changes with technology. And I'm not telling you that to brag, but I'm just telling you that because when you do something and you are great at it long term, people will find you and people will ask you to help them, with buying or selling or with whatever it is that you do as a profession. Most of you are real estate professionals that I'm making this for, but it's a side benefit of being great at what you do is you gain respect. People respect you because they know that you know your stuff. Number 12 is trusting a higher power, right? These top performers that I've worked with personally, some of them are very religious, others are more spiritual than religious, and they trust in their own abilities. They trust in the guidance of the divine, and they consistently approach their work as their responsibility. And as my coach, Coach John Wooden, who I was fortunate enough to read a handful of his books, he used a word called industriousness. These people at high performing levels, they are already multi-millionaires, and they approach their work with dedication, with seriousness, with industriousness, and they're no nonsense. And they're very, very serious about what they do. And that's it. Those are the 12